Hello, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me. Uh, but yeah, how's everyone doing? I'm Ryan Lalu, and we will be hosting the Figma to Code workshop today. I see 404 saying Figma. I love to see it. And I see Wayne chat saying loud and clear. Awesome. Glad to hear everyone is having a great time. Uh, if you've been participating in Global Hack Week this week, feel free to drop one of your favorite moments so far. My favorite moment so far has been holding this workshop yesterday and also the AWS talk earlier this morning, where we got to hear from Vincent to learn more about how to use Bedrock and Q. So, yeah, let's go ahead and begin. This workshop's going to be kind of long, so bear with me, and hopefully, we all learned something new today. I'm Ryan Lalu. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. I'm a Figma enjoyer and a D1 yapper. I also see in chat Mushing Moses saying, "Hey guys, great to be here. Hello, nice to see you." I see Anushka saying, "Yo, it's Ryan. Hey, nice to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And then 404 saying, "My fave was the stream just before on API." That's great to hear. Happy that you are enjoying the streams, especially the one before. So let's go ahead, without further ado, begin, because this workshop's kind of compacted. Hopefully we're able to cover everything here. I also see Flying Girl saying, "Hello everyone. Hello, how's it going?" So a few notes before we get started. First off, thank you for coming. Glad to see everyone here. We're going to be covering quite a bit during this workshop. And more specifically, we're going to be covering how to get access to dev mode, covering Figma fundamentals, learning and working with dev mode, building a quick project, and building it and bringing it to life. So a quick caveat, Figma has updated a lot of their platform after their conference called Figma Config. So we're going to be working on this live together, working through their new UI. So let's go ahead and begin. So you may be asking yourself, if you're new, what is Figma? Well, they have quite a bit to show, so we're going to go over their 4 big products, which actually there's a lot more now. After Figma Config, they're introducing a lot more. So the first and most popular one is Figma Design. Figma Design is Figma's most popular product. It's used by designers worldwide. It is the most popular design platform for collaboration, and it's also useful when designing websites, mobile apps, and other products. You can think of Figma Design as an online multiplayer canvas. Next is FigJam. FigJam is your digital whiteboard, canvas, or notepad. FigJam is one of the most popular and best tools for ideating, brainstorming, and planning things. Think of it as an online multiplayer whiteboard, but instead of it being in real life, it's on the cloud. And think of using it when you're in hackathon settings, class meetings, ideating with other people, working on creating a startup. This is a great tool to document all of that and also collaborate with your peers. Next is Figma Slides. Think of it like a Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint alternative, but with design features. Figma Slides helps you present your intent through design. You can embed widgets to gather feedback during presentations and embed prototypes inside of your slides. So fun fact, this presentation right now is using Figma Slides. I see in chat Anushka saying FigJam is a certified banger for whiteboarding ideas too. I agree. I love using Figma for ideating, whiteboarding, generating slides. This is my preferred slide making method. So it's a great tool to use. And lastly, as of before config, the 4th product they have is Figma Dev Mode. Figma Dev Mode isn't actually your normal developer copilot. As you design, you can switch over to Dev Mode and use CodeGens to generate code, whether it be HTML, be for Android, be for iOS, straight from your designs. So if you're building a mobile app, you can switch between the iOS and Android CodeGens. If you're building let's say, a progressive web app or anything that is in a React-esque framework, you can also generate those with Tailwind, React, etc. And they have so many other features too, but for the purposes of this workshop, we're going to be working primarily with Figma Design and Figma Dev Mode. So why should you learn Figma? Well, Figma is the industry standard. It's the go-to for collaboration, and it's used by the majority of Fortune 500s. Nowadays, it's hard to find a company that doesn't use Figma somewhere in their design process, and one of the biggest perks of using Figma Design is leveraging their design systems and their design kits. So they have three really popular ones that I want to highlight during this stream. So they have an entire community of design libraries. These three are just some really popular ones, and they are iOS and iPadOS 18 by Apple, Material 3 Design by Google, and Simple Design Systems by Figma. These are three really popular ones. And fun fact, the iOS and iPadOS is getting an upgrade really soon. Figma's starting to tease about it, and it's going to come out with the Figma version of the Liquid Glass design system by Apple. So the big theme here is saving time. The preloaded design kits and design systems ensure that you're not starting from scratch, and you can start with a good toolkit of components to use. So they have iPad and iOS by Apple. They have Material 3 Design by Google, and they have Simple Design System, which, for those who don't know, if you don't know what design system you should use, try out Simple Design System by Figma. It is ready to go, really simple, and a great design system to use if you're starting out. I see 404 joking about liquid glass. You mean Vista UI? I 100% agree. I love how we're going back in time and getting a little retro right now with the new design system. So, in the end, using Figma will help you learn a skill for the future. You may be thinking to yourself, why should you use Figma over using V0 or ChatGPT? The simple answer is it's all about design. By using Figma, you have more opportunities to think and design towards the end user. So if you're using this AI tool, you're not really thinking about the end user when you're designing. You're going to ask it, you're going to give it some information, some details, but in the end, this AI doesn't know much about the user. It only knows what you tell it. You, in the end, know way more. So you're able to design better. Design more towards the end product with the user in mind. So how does it work in the real world? Well, most teams use Figma to design. During the process of bringing a design to the device, designers hand off their designs to developers who convert them to code. Gaining design experience with Figma will make you a more marketable engineer, regardless of if you're a software engineer, a UI UX designer, product manager, a data engineer. In the end, thinking towards the user is the best skill you can learn, and Figma is one of the best tools to learn that. So, where can you use Figma? You can use it everywhere. You can use it in your web browser, you can use it on desktop and on mobile, and you can even use it inside of your IDE with a VS Code extension. So it is truly an extremely versatile tool that you can use anywhere. So let's get access to dev mode. So if you are a student or an educator, you actually get access to Figma dev mode for free. Normally this would cost money, and more specifically, it would cost a professional or enterprise seat plan for you to use. But if you're an educator or you're a student, you get this for free. If you head over to mlh.link/Figma, you're able to apply for free, and it should take less than 5 minutes. So I'll give everyone here about a little over 4.5 minutes to go ahead and sign up. If you sign up and you're already, or if you already signed up, or you're finished, feel free to let me know in chat. But I'll give everyone some time to do this. I see in chat we have a question. Ryan, what has been your favorite project using Figma? Oh, that's a great question. I'm gonna have to look into my Figma for that answer. I use Figma for everything. It's I still pay for Adobe the Creative Cloud Suite, so I use Photoshop every now and then. But it's low-key been taking it's been taking my Photoshop use. I can actually demo my favorite project. It was actually for one of my classes. I don't know if y'all will be able to see this. Can y'all see this? This is my favorite Figma project that I've made. Basically outlining my instructions by my professor and my briefing, going into my storyboarding and reporting. And from there, kind of getting an idea of how I want to create these features and which features I want to move ahead with. You can see I'm kind of using I copied and pasted the Figma FigJam like whiteboards here. But after I have all that set up, I made my feature tree For my feature tree, I decided which ones I wanted to go ahead with. And from there, I started creating some low fidelity designs. This is all from my iPad. All the designs, ideas that I had. And from there, started making some components. Made some things, tried to make it a little easy. Going into a little bit more medium fidelity here with some color. And from there, basically making an entire application. You can see with some transitions of what you would do to get around the application. Think of this as a botanic almanac. So it has this entire onboarding flow. And going into it, you can see the actual use case. We're able to have like these task widgets and interact. So yeah, that was this is my favorite project. All right, and we have about 2 more minutes. I might end it 1 minute early, so I'll give everybody 1 more minute. If you've already applied and got your Figma education, feel free to let me know in chat. If you just finished, let me know as well. So I see in chat, Mission Moses is asking, can I share free tutorials for learning how to design the correct way? Yes, I 100% can. I think in a few slides, I'll have a link where you can learn so much about how Figma kind of structures their application and how they recommend using it. I will also get into it after this, a little bit of how to use Figma. I guess in a way, there's no correct way, but there are a lot of design paradigms that we will cover that should help you a lot with designing in a way that's, I guess, most common. So, saying all of that, we've hit the end of our time. Let's go ahead and move on to learning more about the Figma design basics. So remember, you don't need to be a designer to use Figma. Learning these skills are essential for developers as well. So, Figma has 4 main, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Figma has 4 main distinct regions. They have the canvas in the background, they have the left and right toolbars, and they have the central toolbar. Sorry, the left and right sidebars, and then the central toolbar. So the canvas is the most important, which we'll cover next. So there are 2 main ways to move and navigate around the Figma canvas. That is panning around and zooming in and out. So on the screen, you can see what is most relevant to you. So for me, I'm using a trackpad right now. So what I'm going to do if I want to pan around the canvas is to use 2 fingers and to just slide it around. If I want to zoom in and out in the canvas, I'm going to pinch with my 2 fingers in and out. If you're on mouse, you have the respective mouse controls here on the screen. So next is the toolbar. The toolbar is a little bit more complicated, and in fact, it's actually updated a little bit more since Figma config. You'll see instead of just one dev move button, there's a design, and then there's a I think, scribble or draw button now, which are really cool features. But for the purpose of this workshop, we're going to be covering 4 main tools, and these are the ones that we're going to be using. It's going to be Move, which you can access with clicking B, Frame with F, Shape with R, and Text with T. Those are going to be the main tools we're using. So next, let's move on to the left sidebar. This one's a little bit more complicated here. In fact, I can show an example while we're doing this. So in the top left, you see the Assets panel. The Assets panel right here, where this button is going to locate, is where you can locate all of your local components or components that you find from kits or libraries. For this workshop, we don't really need it. Then we have the main menu, which is up here. The main menu is where you can access functions, actions, and settings. Again, for this workshop, we don't really need it, so we won't be covering it too much. Next is Pages under the File menu here. Pages, think of it as multiple sheets inside of Google Sheets or inside of an Excel document. They're basically different pages that you can use. And then we have Layers, which is just below it. Layers, think of it as a way to order all of your elements or everything inside of your canvas. So if I go to this example that we had from yesterday, this is from yesterday's Dev Mode workshop. You can see that on here we have 1 page, And then on here, we have multiple layers. So these are our multiple layers that we will have. So let's go ahead and go back. Yeah, and next we have the right sidebar. So the right sidebar is where you can access most of the info about your design. You can see that there are two main tabs here. One is design and one is prototyping. Prototyping is how you can view and edit prototype interactions, flows, and settings. For this workshop, we won't be covering it. It's kind of advanced. Think of this as a way that you can mock and say, if I click a button, I want to go to this new page. This is where you would do that. And the most important one is going to be design. The design tab is where you can view and edit the design properties of your layers. So you can see there's a lot of properties here. You have position properties, layout properties, appearance properties, etc. There's like 7 to 10 tabs here. A good thing to note, though, is when nothing is selected on your canvas, you can view the local resources like colors and textiles. However, when a layer is selected, you can explore properties of the selection. So that is a brief overview of the basics. There are so many more features and tricks to learn through Figma's resource library and Figma Learn. Feel free to use this link if you want to learn more about it. So I guess, Mushing Moses, this is the link I was mentioning. If you go to mlh.link/Figma resources, you can find everything about Figma. It's basically the Figma Learn Center. They have everything you'll need. If you're kind of thinking, how should I use frames? What's the correct convention? I would go to the link, look up frames, and it should show you so much. And in fact, we could probably just go to it right now together. If I go to mlh.link/Figma resources, did I type it incorrectly? mlh.link/Figma resources. Oh, I typed it incorrectly again. LOL. Let's try that one more time. mlh.link/Figma resources. Oh, come on. mlh.link/Figma resources. Okay, looks like it's not linked right now, which is a little odd. But if you look up Figma Learn Center, you'll be able to find the same thing. So you can see here, they talk all about their different products. For us, we're on Figma Design, and they have a beginner tutorial here, where they have a bunch of different sections and tutorials. So you can see it's about 180 minutes, and so it's beginner friendly and it has about 33 chapters. So I'd recommend this if it's your first time using it. All right, let's move on to the UI card project. So we're gonna do this live. You can see this is the one that we had from yesterday. Let's go ahead and make a new UI card project. So the first thing that we're gonna do here is we are going to create a text box. If you click the T button, you're able to generate a text box here. So I'm gonna type in, yesterday we did a HackCon themed one. What should we do this time? Let's do something about Hack the North. Hack the North is one of the world's most popular hackathons. It's located in Waterloo. Let's talk about them since their hackathon started recently. So I'm gonna type in my experience at Hack the North. So I typed in my text here. I'm gonna make the text size 24, and I'm gonna make it bold. You can see here, it was already selected, but if I want to select it again, under typography, I can just click on the font size and click bold. From there, I have my text. Let's go ahead and make a placeholder shape that we're gonna use to have our image about Hack the North. So all I did is I clicked R for rectangle, and I dragged on the canvas and created this rectangle size. For now, it's gonna have a color, but in a tiny bit, we're gonna replace it with an image. Next, we're gonna create a description text box. So I'm gonna click the T button again, and I'm gonna drag on the canvas here. Once I've dragged on the canvas, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience at Hack the North. So Hack the North was incredibly enjoyable this year. I loved all of the experiences, games, workshops, and opportunities afforded by the event, and I would love to come back next year. So let this be a description for our UI card. So in here, I'm gonna change some of the properties. I'm gonna make the text size 16 instead of 24. I'm gonna change the font weight from bold back to regular. And I'm gonna change the layout styling from right now it's fixed size, sometimes it's gonna be auto width. I'm gonna change it from that to auto height. So now that I've set it to be auto height, everything should be good here. Kind of elaborating on what auto height does. Auto height prevents the text from extending horizontally infinitely to the right if you have it set to auto width, or if it's fixed size, it's going to prevent it from taking up a set size in that block that's at a fixed height and not being able to type more in it. So this is just going to let it expand the more I type here. So if I, let's say, remove half the text here, you can see that the box shrinks to the text. And that is what auto height does. So let's move on to the next section. The next section we're gonna cover how to change this rectangle to an image. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on this fill color on the right side. I'm going to go to the image tab. It's the fourth from the left, and I'm gonna instead of uploading from my computer, I'm gonna have Figma generate it with AI. So I'm gonna make an image here. What I'm gonna type is hack the North is Waterloo's or Waterloo's flagship hackathon. I'm going to type that and I'm going to ask Figma to make it. So this is going to take a tiny bit. So as this makes an image, I'm going to move on to the next step here. So the next step here is to select all of our elements that we have on the canvas so far, and we're going to hit the keybind Option Command G. If you're on Windows, the keybind is going to be Control Alt G. So I guess just to go back to the slides, if you want to see that again, Option Command G or Control Alt G. Those are the keybinds to use here. So I don't like this image right now. I think it could be a little bit better. Let me ask it to generate a new one again. So generate a candid photo inside of Hack the North. Waterloo's flagship hackathon. Think of this as a still of an image taken during the event. So I'm going to ask it to take a photo from Hack the North. It's going to AI generate it. Hopefully it's somewhat accurate. So after going back to the frame, after we've created our frame, let's go ahead and make this an auto layout. So to do that, we hit Shift A. You can see here it did a few things. Some of them might not be completely obvious, but I'll describe a little bit about what we've just done with creating a frame and setting it to auto layout. So auto layout is the equivalent of using Flexbox in CSS. This allows us to dynamically organize items inside of the frame based on the auto layout rules we provided. This is helpful for allowing applications to organize itself dynamically with changing viewport sizes and screens. Think of this as it allows us to have a responsive site, whether we're on a mobile application or we're on a desktop application. So you can see here, it generated an AI style of Hack the North. That is crazy that it was able to do that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So whenever we set this to be auto layout, we can see here that it has set this text to be hugging the text in height and filling the text in width. Same with the description. It's filling the width and it's hugging the height. So this image, we can see here that it is setting it to a static height, but the width is going to be filling. So now think of this as a responsive box. So if we, if we change the size of, if I change the size of the card, you can see it's dynamic now. We have the image still taking the place, and you have the header and the description all filling in the space here. So I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. And I'm going to change a little bit of the styling here. So let's go ahead and change the styling. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that right now our auto layout is going to be vertical, and it is. And then I want the height to be hugged, which it is. And I want the width to be fixed, which it is. I'm actually going to set the width to be 256, just so it's a nice number to work with. And from there, I am going to then edit some of the properties inside of the auto layout. So in here, I'm gonna make so again, it's vertical already. I'm gonna make the alignment left here. Now that the alignment is on left, I'm going to make the gap 6. The gap as a spacing in between every single object inside of this container. So 6 here. And then from there, I'm gonna make the vertical and horizontal paddings 24. It's gonna squish it a little bit, but I can expand it just to take up some more space here, just like that. Make it an even 412. And I'm gonna give it a stroke. Let's make the stroke with 2 and keep the border to be black. Let's go to the appearance tab over here, and let's make the corner radius 16. That way it's a little bit curved. And I'm gonna add a quick background fill to be white. And just like that, we have our first UI card. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about what we've just done. We've done quite a bit. Let's talk a little bit about it. So I see Flying Girl asking real quick. So before I do that, Flying Girl's asking, sorry, but can you show how you generated an image from the start? Just the image part. Yeah, no problem. So I took the R key to generate a rectangle. And to drag the rectangle onto my canvas, I went under the fill property where it shows the color, and I clicked on that square. From there, I went to the fourth section from the left where it shows an image. I clicked on that, and then I clicked make an image. So you only get this AI feature if you have Figma download and access to Figma download, which comes with the education. So if you remember a little bit, whenever we had the mlh.link/Figma over here, to be able to use this feature, you have to have access to a education seat. And when you have access to an education seat, you have to make sure that your design is inside of your education team. So right now, I can show you where my project is. You can see right now this draft is inside of my team. I am pretty sure Figma removed access to, they removed the ability to have drafts under your individual, and now everything is under a team. So your personal account should now be a team. So if it's under your team, and this is my education team, that's how it has access to the AI tool. So yeah. So to explain a little bit about what we just did, oh, no problem, Flying Girl. Glad it's working for you. So to explain a little bit about what we just did, think of a frame as an Amazon package box, right? I'm gonna create a frame right here, and I'm gonna add some boxes, right? So I'm gonna make these black just so they're easier to see with more contrast. So if I were to describe to you in just words and no images where this box is in relation to the overall box, where this rectangle is in relation to the box it's in, how would I do that? Well, the simplest way is to talk about the relationship to it. So if I say it's aligned to the top left, it's on the top left. If I say it is, I can actually do this in using auto layout. If I say it's aligned to the top, it's on the top. If I say bottom right, it's on the bottom right. If I say it's on the center, it's on the center. That's pretty simple. But how do we describe the relationship when there are more than one box? Well, let's say that we say it's on the top left, it's on the top left, on the center, on the bottom right. These relationships are still there. But what about if I want this far left box to be on the far left side, and the center box to be in the center, and this far right box to be on the far right? Well, quite simply put, if I double click in Figma, I'm able to do a justify bottom, where it's going to spread out all of the elements on that bottom row. So now we can spread them all out between the center, the top, the bottom. Let's say instead of this being in a row format, we make it a column format. Now we can spread them all between the vertical left column, the vertical center column, and the vertical right column. So think of Flexbox as a way to describe the relationship. You also get the vertical and horizontal paddings here. So let's say if I add more padding, and I let this expand to the top and bottom here. If I add more vertical padding, we can see that it's going to add some spacers in between, or I guess on the edges, to make sure that nothing touches. If I were to make this go back into a horizontal row layout, I add some horizontal padding, we can now see that it's preventing it from hitting those edges. It adds some padding. Let's say we want to add a way for it to flow through. Before we even get there, let's say you wanted to define the space in between each block. So if I make this, put it back as centered align and not justified between the entire column length. Let's say I make the space in between these columns 32. You can now see that in between these two blocks, there are 32 pixels of padding. If I make it 48, you'll see that there's now 48 pixels of padding. Same with the vertical padding. We have 48 by default, and it's saying that there's going to be 48 pixels of padding in between. And this is if it's wrapped. So the next thing is, let's say we want it to be where if there are too many items in one column or one row, depending on which way you're aligning it, we want it to overflow, or we want it to go to the next line, right? You see right now when I'm Control-Ving and spamming a bunch of different rectangles, they're going infinitely to the right. The solution is to wrap it. If I click the wrap button right here, you can see that the new blocks are going to the next row here. So if I just fix the padding a little bit to make it a little nicer, make all these a little tidier, you can see that it now expands to the next column. So when I copy and paste a new object, it's just going to expand down. So yeah, just like that, we're able to have these expand and flex, and basically just we're able to define the relationship between everything inside of a container. So saying all of that, that is what we did with this card. In this card, we're saying that we want a vertical container that's going to go all the way down. We want everything to be aligned to the top left, and we want everything inside of it to basically fill the width of the container but have static heights. Unless it's text where we want it to expand downwards, also known as hugging, if we type more text. So just like that, we have created our first UI card, and that took us less than 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and define what a web page would be like and act like it's a container. So we can show you what it would look like if you had multiple cards inside of a UI. So I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the F key, and I'm going to, on the right-hand side where it shows desktop and all these different frame selections, I'm going to select desktop, and I'm going to select a MacBook Pro 14-inch because that's the laptop I have. In here, I'm going to set it to be auto layout by clicking this button. Don't forget, you can also hit Shift A to make it auto layout. And from here, I'm going to add some properties that are going to be kind of interesting. But before I do that, I'm going to just drag this new UI card I've created into this box. And we can see here, now that it's auto layout, it is automatically going to click to the top left. Right now, by default, it's defining about 10 pixels of padding. Let's go ahead and update that just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the padding 64 on vertical and horizontal, and I'm going to give it a 32 pixel gap in between each card. So if I copy and paste this card again, you'll see that there is about 52 pixels of gap. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that whenever I add more cards, so I'll just demo it here, it doesn't extend infinitely to the right over here. But I'm going to do something select on the frame. So I'm going to select the frame. I'm going to click the wrap button, and I'm going to make sure that the wrap direction is the flow direction is horizontal. So you can see here, it's going to basically keep going to the right, and once it isn't able to display more, it is going to wrap into the next row. So now if I Control C and Control V one more card, it's going to drop down to this next row. I'll do it a few more times. It's just going to keep dropping down and go down, and it acts like a web page. I'll just spam a few more here. So pretty much just like that, we have created a web page. Think about it. We've defined the viewport size. We have created these cards that are inside of it, and we're basically defining the way we want these cards to flow in respect to our screen. So just like that, we have created and finished our UI card project. So saying all of that, let's go ahead and move on to dev mode. So dev mode is a really cool thing that actually exited public beta after the summer of last year. And it is a great way to turn your designs into code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the dev mode button. And from here, there's a lot. The first thing I can see on the top left side is I can see all of our layers and all of our pages. What we can do is whenever we select one of our frames, we're able to click on this dev mode looking button on the top right, which will ready up this for development. So I'm going to ready for development, and you can see when I'm in dev mode, on the top left, it's going to instantly highlight the first thing ready for development. So right here, you can see every single layer, the main component that's ready for development, and all of the properties leading all the way down to the individual atomic elements of it. So right now we have these text boxes, and we have this image. Yeah. So there are a few things here that we can look at. So the left side is how we navigate between the different layers in our prototype, and the right side is how we can view and actually turn these designs into code. Give me 1 second though. I'm going to take a quick sip of some a drink. All right. So let's go ahead and continue here. So you can see on this right-hand side, this right nav bar, there is a lot of things here. There's a lot happening. So the main thing to notice is plugins and inspect. We'll cover plugins in a tiny bit. But under the inspect tab, we have the name of our frame or our component ready for development. We can also toggle it by clicking this button over here, the demo button. We have layer properties, which will show us I guess in a box format, the padding, the margin, the border size, and the content size inside. Beneath that, we have this toggle between list and code. Think of list as being a code agnostic way to describe the styling. You can see here it's describing the layout, flow, the colors used, and the assets. For this purpose, we're going to be using code. So in code, you can see by default right now, it is generating using this HTML code gen. It is generating a bunch of code that I can copy and paste. It should automatically work if I paste it into the browser. Beneath it, we can also see the text stylings here. So we have a lot of text styles. It was a mistake to expand that. And we also see the colors and assets again. So the main thing to look at here is going to be code gens. So code gens allow you to do many things. The main ones is you have a code gen to convert these designs to CSS, iOS with SwiftUI and UIKit, Android with Compose and XML, and then you have public plugins. So these plugins, some will cost money, most of them are going to be free. You're able to browse these public CodeGen plugins, and you're able to download them and use them to convert your code into any other type of resource here. So for some examples here, you can see a Figma to React Native CodeGen plugin that's online here. So if you want to convert this into React Native, you can with this public CodeGen. Going back here, I'm going to select this plugin that I think is by Figma. It's a really popular one, where I'm able to convert it into HTML, React JSX, Svelte, styled components, Tailwind with JSX, Flutter, and SwiftUI. So if you're a React developer or Next developer, you might be really familiar with using Tailwind stylings. So right here, you can see a Tailwind export, which you can just copy and paste into any type of React Center project. Or for the purpose of this workshop, just to be pretty simple here, I am going to just do HTML. So right here, I should be able to pop this into any HTML document and it should work. So I'm going to click the copy button here. And while I try to put this into a file, I'm going to display the directions that I'm following. So right here, I'm going to create a new .html file. I'm going to open it in my editor. I'm going to paste the code from the code pen, and I'm going to open the file up. So I will do that right now. Give me just 1 moment. All right, and I've just finished pasting it into a document that is a .html document, and I'm going to open it up in the browser here. So you can see immediately we have everything working. You can see that we have all of our UI cards, albeit this CodeGen plugin does not copy, it copies text code, so it can't display images. So instead it's displaying a placeholder here. So you're able to see our placeholders for our images and all of the cards that we've generated. And you can see as I scroll up and down, I'm able to view all of the different cards in this flex row that we've created. You can see that as it goes to the right, if it can't make it to add one more, it's going to move it down to the next column. And it'll keep doing that until we reach the bottom here. So just like that, we have created a UI card project, and we presented all in depth. We started about 13 minutes ago. So in 13 minutes, we've explained and designed our UI cards, designed the container, and converted the code using dev mode. That's pretty cool. And just like that, voila, that's it. We just finished. Again, we designed a web mockup using Figma Design and converted it to code with dev mode. If you want to experiment more with dev mode, feel free to try the VS Code extension. If you loved Figma Design or Figma Dev Code and want to learn more, try Figma Learn Docs or Figma's Resource Center. Again, I was there a second ago. I go to Figma Resource Center. There's so much here in Figma Learn. If I just go back to Figma Design for Beginners, if you want to learn how to be a better developer and design more towards a user, this is the tool for you. It is a great tool to use, and I would recommend it over every other tool. Personally, I love Figma, and I think it's the tool to use if you want to be a better developer, designer, product manager, data engineer, basically anything under the roof. But again, that's it. If you would like to leave me some feedback on how I did, feel free to fill out this survey link over here or scan the QR code. Besides that, that's everything I have in store for you all today. This is also my last Global Hack Week workshop for this month. So feel free to catch me next month for Global Hack Week season launch. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. But if not, that will be it. I will also drop a link to sign in one last time. So if you haven't already, please fill out, go to this event, sign in, that we're able to earn your checkmark for swag. And I'll give it just a few more seconds if anybody wants to drop a question. And I guess that is all the questions that we have. So this is, correct me if I'm wrong, someone in chat, but this is going to be the last workshop for a few hours. Our next workshop is going to be at around 7 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. So that's going to be with Quinn, and it's going to be designing strategic AIs for social games. So if you want to catch that next workshop tomorrow, feel free to drop in and try it out. But besides that, thank you all for joining me for this Global Hack Week. And I hope to see you all tomorrow at Quinn's stream. Besides that, thank you all, take care, and have fun. Happy hacking.